On today's episode of Locked On NHL, injuries are running rampant throughout the league, but make no mistake, the Mammoth are going to miss Logan Cooley most of all.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, I'm Seth Toupal. Welcome to Locked On NHL. Thank you for listening to today's episode and for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast. Locked On NHL is your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. We are your team each and every day, and we thank you for making Locked On NHL your first listen each and every day as well. Make sure to subscribe on all of your favorite audio platforms so you don't miss out on any new episodes throughout the week. Today's episode of Locked On NHL is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. On today's episode of Locked On NHL, we discuss a rampant wave of injuries throughout the NHL with a major injury that could impact the Utah Mammoth and their playoff push. We'll talk about the absence of Logan Cooley. We'll talk about two teams in the Washington Capitals and the Minnesota Wild dealing with torrent waves of injuries right now. And we'll talk about the goalie market. Turns out the Edmonton Oilers maybe need an upgrade on Stuart Skinner. We'll talk about some possibilities. Who could have seen this coming? Not I, says the fly on the wall. We'll talk about some of the potential options for the Oilers and the other teams that will be fighting them for goalies every single step of the way. Can't be a goalie fight without Jordan Binnington involved. So my name is Seth Toupal, host of Locked On Wilds. I've been covering the Minnesota Wild for the last 5 seasons, joined by JD Young of Locked On Sharks, who has been covering the Sharks
2018, baby. Yeah, the last playoff run. It's been really fun.
It's been a long journey, as Phyllis said when she was made Santa in The Office. It's been a long journey, and the journey could be very long for the Utah Mammoth, who are dealing with a very key injury to their leading scorer, that being Logan Cooley. Latest update is that he's going to be sidelined indefinitely with a lower body injury. This happens in his injury status came about yesterday after he was a late scratch in Saturday's game against Calgary. He crashed hard feet first into the net during the third period of the Utah game against Vancouver. Left leg took most of it. And that's a big one. I mean, he's got 14 goals, 23 total points in 29 games this season, or as artificial intelligence called him, the Art Ross Trophy winner from last year.
I know, it's a surprise to me. Good for him. Good for him to get that Art Ross Trophy. 1, check your work, kids. 2, it reminds me, it's almost a Final Destination feeling, right? Where he got the knee on knee, and it felt like, oh man, this could be bad. Bruce, great, comes back. He plays against he comes back, plays against the Sharks. Looks, like Logan Cooley in that game. But death comes for us all as he comes and gets taken out here. And these, you always worry about these going into the net plays because it's bad. So much bad stuff can happen. Matthew Schaefer, of course, last year in World Juniors, crashes into the net, breaks his collarbone, and then he's done for the season type of thing. There's players plenty of injuries with players running into the net and losing a big chunk of time. And this Mammoth team right now cannot, this team has floundered after such a hot start to the season. They have not been the same team in the month of November, and losing Logan Cooley here, bad. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row, as they had a really putrid stretch where they lost against They lost against the Islanders, Anaheim, Sharks, and Vegas. Then they had another 4-game losing streak, and now it looks like they're like on their way to another losing streak. Like, this is a team that a lot of people picked to be in a playoff contender, and losing your best player, arguably your best player, not great, Bob.
Well, and the Mammoth were in second place in the Central Division for a while. Now they are outside of the playoffs. And here's the other thing. They have currently played the most games in the entire Western Conference.
Not a good combo.
With 31. And so every team that is in front of them has games in hand on them. And it just all of that early equity has been burned through already. And that's just with 2 players out. Like, Logan Cooley and Oli Mata are really the only 2 players that are out of the lineup.
Yeah.
So it's been relatively healthy, which you would think is not going to be the case for the whole season. So does this get worse? Like, do more injuries cause them to further kind of fall out of the playoff picture?
Yeah, I mean, and especially as we're going to talk about here in a couple of minutes, just with this schedule. And again, I know it's really early in the season to be looking at strength of schedule, but you look at what there's remaining games, and yes, they have 51 games left, but they have the 4th hardest schedule left. They still have 2 games against Colorado, who's really good, 3 games against the Stars, 2 games against the Caps, 2 against Carolina. They got another game against Vegas. Like, this schedule is still really tough for them. So we'll see with like how long Cooley is going to be out. Hopefully it's not too long, but when you don't even get the coach's like timetable of like, day to day, week to week, and it's just straight to indefinitely, that's bad, especially in hockey world, right? Like, it is very, like, coaches do not like to divulge any sort of injury news. We were joking, before, like, Joe Thornton once had a pick line in his leg, and he was day to day, like, type of thing. Like, these types of like hockey coaches don't want to give out anything. Like, everybody's day to day, week to week. It is, yes, tight-lipped here. So the fact that it's just indefinitely, it's not a great sign there. So hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, because this Mammoth team needs him.
Does this pressure the Mammoth into making a trade? We're still, I would say, at least a month out from when we will see
the first
more
big one.
Yeah. It feels like it's at least a month out before we see a big trade go down. But this has been the thing that we've seen with this Utah/Arizona team for the last several seasons is you get off to a little bit of a hot start, but you can't sustain it. And so at what point do you push some of the chips into the middle of the table to try to keep it afloat? Because it feels like it is difficult to try to reinflate the raft every time you run out of air, as opposed to just, I don't know, buying a new raft.
Yeah. And there's been rumors, right, that Utah wants to make a big swing. Who or what that big swing is, that's a great question. But this team, right, it's got picks, it has 3 second-round picks this year in this year's draft, like upcoming draft. Like, this team has done a very good job of filling up the war chest. And yeah, if Cooley is going to be out for a significant amount of time, like, you're not going to find someone who's Logan Cooley for you, but can you go out and find someone who can help stabilize your center depth for the next couple months, and then when you get Cooley back, like, it adds more depth. I think they have to be aggressive. And like you said, this team has been aggressive, especially since they got to Utah, right? You think about their first draft, like, they traded to go get, restock that blue line, with guys like Sekerchev. Like, they've were very aggressive at the time, trying, John Marino, like, getting 2 veteran guys to come in here and solidify the defense. I know they have a ton of guys, like, in the forward group, that are young players, like Dylan Gunther, JJ Paterka, you have Daniel Butt, but like, you wonder if they maybe swing for more of a veteran guy who can, again, come in and just help be a top 6 guy who can kind of help stabilize the position. So
Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah, easily. That's it. Why just get Connor McDavid? He's not doing anything.
Cam Fowler.
Ooh, noted defenseman Cam Fowler coming in. You know what? He could probably do it. So
it's, it will be very interesting because it does, I do get the sense just from what I have seen of this team from afar that the patience may be starting to wear a little thin on this team, continuing to get off to these good starts and continuing to see them fizzle. So at some point, the pressure goes to the front office to have to do something to try to kickstart it. Tage Thompson. No, he's not being moved. Whoever came up with that as a potential option, get with it. He's not getting moved. Tage Thompson is not being traded. There is a 0% chance that Tage Thompson is being traded.
Wink.
0% chance.
Well, you're talking yourself into this.
I'm trying to reverse jinx it.
Oh, he's going to Vegas anyway, so he's gonna go play with his buddy Jack Eichel. So
fun. We will continue the injury topic because there are some teams that have a full wing at the hospital that is just full of their players. The Washington Capitals were the one of the most recent to put a wave of players on injured reserve. I would imagine the Minnesota Wild will probably follow suit after their game against the Kraken. So we'll discuss just a full wave beyond that even of injuries as we continue today's episode of Locked On NHL right after this. Today's episode of Locked On NHL is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Pro tip for you, if you're looking for an easy way to get yourself started, one of the tried and true bets throughout the NFL is the first half under. Teams are usually in position. They were trying to kind of feel things out. You got the scripted plays at the beginning of the game. Those drives potentially can go for longer. If you want the most likely to succeed bet in the NFL, it's the first half under. So give that a thought. And if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Welcome back to today's edition of Locked On NHL. We thank you for making Locked On NHL your first listen each and every day and for helping to make Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now you can take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today with your favorite Locked On podcast, full of commercial-free, members-only Discord access and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Check out your favorite Locked On show for more details. JD, the injuries just, they mount. They are continuing to pile up. We are recording this on a Monday night after the Minnesota Wild took care of the Seattle Kraken. And so we'll start with the Wild because it was a sick game. Minnesota Wild had 5 players exit the game. In no particular order. The following players were those that left, and of course, my computer screen jumped up, so that list of players is now gone. Matt Zuccarello, Jake Middleton, Nico Sturm, Matt Boldy, and Ryan Hartman. That's 5.
I think none of those guys are important to the team. Right?
That's 5. And they joined the other 3 that were already injured, which includes Marco Rossi, Marcus Foligno, and Vinny Hinostroza. 8 players. John Hines said after the game, Matt Zuccarello was okay. He took a nasty hit up high, courtesy of Vince Dunn, that led to him being done for basically the entirety of the game. Matt Boldy blocked a shot late and immediately limped down the tunnel.
You always hate those.
So that's concerning.
No, that's like you worry with those. Sometimes it's like with those block shots, right? It's either sometimes the foot will swell and then, like it might take a couple days for it to go down, but you always worry about like a broken bone in the foot there. That's a little worrisome there with those block shots there in the foot.
And especially because Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy have combined to score 43% of the Minnesota Wild's goals this season.
That's a lot. Not a math guy, but that's a lot.
Sources are telling me that's a sizable portion of the goals.
That's almost half.
According to sources.
Yes, working to confirm.
Yeah, sources have said.
That's not good especially in it's good thing you play in a division like the Minnesota Wild play in a division where like 2 teams aren't just like running away with it because they're insane. Like the Colorado Avalanche and Dallas Stars aren't just like miles ahead of everybody and you got to try to keep up with them. So good thing you don't have a division like that. So that's a good thing. But it's this NHL season it's brutal with the injuries with this condensed schedule.
The Minnesota Wild would be leading basically every other division right now by multiple points other than the Metropolitan and the Pacific.
Third in the division. Right?
By double-digit points.
Yes.
Colorado is so far ahead of Detroit and Pittsburgh that they are almost doubling them up on the back end.
That Colorado team's ridiculous, man. They're ridiculous. That Stars team's not far behind. That first round is going to be brutal. Good luck. That's what.
Yeah, thank goodness we have a super reliable playoff format that people haven't been screaming to get rid of for years.
Thanks, Gary. Some of the other around the league, Ryan Leonard in the Caps, he was spotted in a sling. Leonard, who had really started to heat up. I know last week he had like 1,000 points in versus the Sharks, like literally 1,000 points versus the Sharks in that game. Really started to kind of come into his own as a young player. That's bad. You also look at what I know they also put Lindgren, who's dealing with injuries too. Not as great of a year for Lindgren this year for the Caps, but still, when you lose one of your 2 goalies, it's we know goalie depth can be it's like bringing in a backup quarterback, right? Sometimes you just never know what you're going to get with that backup goalie there. Speaking about goalies, you see Vasilevsky gets put on IR for the Lightning. Like that one, you feel bad for the Lightning because they start to like, okay, cool. We get Victor Hedman back. Braden Point comes back. Oh, we're losing. Yeah, we're losing Vasilevsky. Like that team is the work John Cooper has been doing with that mash unit of a team this year is insane. But yeah, it's been a tough season with all the injuries that we've been seeing in the NHL with this compressed schedule.
Maybe John Cooper can win the Art Ross Trophy this year.
Not unless Cam Fowler wins it first. Co-winners?
Do we have a 3-way tie? Wait, no, it'd be a 2-way tie because Logan Cooley won it last year.
Yeah, he can win it again. So
what else is ChatGPT not telling me?
I know. Yeah. John Cooper for Art Ross, question mark.
Hey, ChatGPT, where's the treasure hidden?
What's the FanDuel odds on that one?
Are you referring to the Nicolas Cage movie?
So, but yeah, definitely it's been a really brutal year for injuries. And you like if your team is anywhere like somewhat healthy, like you just kind of like cross your fingers and hold your breath that it can stay as long as possible.
Almost as if the condensed schedule is a bad idea.
Almost. Yeah. And then the fun thing next year is, right, you get to kind of do it all over again because with the Four Nations. But I know they're starting the schedule like end of September, beginning of October.
Like 2 days earlier.
I think it's like end of September. So it's like a week and a half earlier and less preseason games. But every team's playing 2 more games next year. So yeah, not great. Not great. So,
yeah, definitely a thing that is going to improve player safety is cutting preseason games down and adding more regular season games.
I mean, if you're going to be playing, you can get hurt playing any game, right? Like at least make it count towards something. And half the time, like these teams are putting these like AHL rosters with like 3 NHL guys out there. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk goalies. Let's go.
Yeah, we have a goalie conversation to finish the show here today. The trade market's heating up, and who could have thought that the Edmonton Oilers would be in desperate need of a goalie? I could not have seen this coming. No chance. No chance that this was coming. We'll talk goalies and trades as we finish today's episode of Locked On NHL right after this.
The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time in forever with 48 teams. For the first time ever is going to be massive. Let's be honest. Getting tickets is usually the hardest part. That's why the Game Time app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. It's great because you can pick a game, tap a section, and you have your tickets locked in with minutes. No confusion, no hunting for fine print. Prices include fees up front, which I love. Like, you don't want to go to checkout and then all of a sudden there's like $1 bajillion worth of surprise fees. You don't have to worry about that with Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying Game Time tickets. Every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Game Time.
Final segment of today's Locked On NHL. Once again, we thank you for making Locked On NHL your first listen each and every day. And once again, make sure to check out the Everydayer Club for your favorite Locked On show. Just head to your favorite Locked On shows homepage to see all the details. Just $5 a month gives you ad-free content. Plus, you can join the Everydayer Club Discord. So many features that come with this. It's really a way to enhance the Locked On experience, to elevate the Locked On experience, and I think you're really going to like it. So make sure to check out your favorite Locked On show for more information. Trade winds are starting to ripple in the NHL because it turns out there are still a few teams, Edmonton Oilers, that are in desperate need of some stable level of goaltending. Edmonton Oilers and
Toronto Maple Leafs.
while the names are not widely known, Edmonton Oilers,
Toronto Maple Leafs.
There are going to be some big players, Edmonton Oilers,
Toronto Maple Leafs,
in the goalie trade market. So let's take a look at some of the possibilities. Obviously, the one that has been linked heavily, even suggested a swap with Stuart Skinner for this player. I'm, of course, talking about the expected starter for Team Canada. Or is he?
Question mark.
Jordan Binnington, Binner, the winner, before this year.
Yeah. Well, now the rumor is they want a tandem of Binnington Stuart Skinner, which I definitely see going very well. But the problem is the Edmonton Oilers have no cap space. So they would have to move out some other contract elsewhere. Their current cap situation, they have $159,000 in cap space, which is not great. That's like coupon clipping here this time.
Slight understatement.
And as we've talked about, several times, they don't have a lot of contracts that you can easily ship out, right? You just signed Evan Bouchard to extension, so you're not moving him. Darnell Nurse with his $9.2 million would be a nice contract to move out, but he's got a full no movement clause, so why would he do that? You have like Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Trent Frederick, who you decided to give a no movement clause to his less than $4 million contract. This team is I would love to upgrade my goalies, but I have three. Literally, it's the Patrick, I have $3 here I'd like to upgrade my goalie with. So I don't know. And Binnington doesn't seem like he wants to go to Edmonton as well, which, I could understand that maybe. But so you wonder if maybe they look elsewhere. And I kind of as I'm trying to stick Toronto in here, Toronto also needs some sort of goaltending help because they have literally nobody healthy who can play goalie for them right now. They're having to dig deep into the AHL as both Wall and Stolars are on IR. And they have Dennis Hildeby, who's going to be starting games for them at this point, because you wonder if they're going to try to find somebody to try to fill in while these two goalies try, or at least one of the goalies gets healthy here, so they can at least run out an NHL tandem.
Yikes.
Yeah.
If Edmonton's going to do anything at or before this trade deadline, they're going to need a broker. They're going to need a facility.
But the problem is now
anything do.
But the problem is now with the new rules, remember, is you can't have a third-party broker. That person has to stay on the roster for, I think it's either 60 or 75 days before you can retain the contract again. So that's the problem with the new CBA here. And this is that, yes, it would be great to, get a team who has, a ton of cap space and wants some assets to come in and be like, hey, we'll eat half the contract. That rule's gone now, so you can't even do that anymore. So you have to be very much money in, money out. And even now the new Tristan Jarry might be the new hot thing. But again, you're in the same situation where Jarry's making $5.3 million. And I know the Penguins have some goalies that they like in their, pipeline that they want to see get more. And as well as Tristan Jarry's been playing this season, maybe they believe it's a little bit of fool's gold. So what are you going, again, you're back to square one of, I have $3 and I have no way to get anything. And the Penguins are we're not retaining right now, which is 100% they're right, because they don't have to do anything because they are off to such a great start this season. So I wonder, the Buffalo situation though is interesting. A couple guys though, you have the Buffalo situation where they have a few goalies kind of in the that are playing, right? They have 3 goalies right now. You have Lekanainen, Lyon, and Colton Elis, who are playing right now, who are all in the NHL. Then, of course, they have Devin Levi, who's supposed to be the goalie of the future at some point here. Lyon, who's making $1.5 million, that would be probably pretty easy, and he can come in and hold down the fort for you as well. And then you have the Chicago situation, where they have, of course, they have their goalie of the future and now with Spencer Knight. And they have Soderblom, who's been a solid backup, but then they have Laurent Brossoit, who hasn't played in a couple seasons because of his injury, who's starting to come back. He's going to need some time to kind of, some rehab assignments. But you're gambling on a guy who really hasn't played much in the past year and a half or so. So I think those are the situations you're probably watching for is the Buffalo and Chicago, and see if you can maybe swipe a guy from one of those two teams.
And you're just hoping that you get fooled again by the Stuart Skinner situation, and he gets you into the playoffs. He goes on a long run in the Stanley Cup playoffs and finally finishes the job. Yeah. I can't be hurt by this again. Jeff Skinner's still on the Buffalo Sabres books as far as buyout goes.
Yes, I know. He's having not too bad of a season with the Sharks this year. So
4.444 million for Skinner for this season, 6.444444 million next year, and then 2.444444 million for the final 3 years, ending in 2029, 2030. Yikes.
Could be worse. Could be worse. I mean, it's not like it's like 15 million or anything like that.
No, that's who would ever do such a thing there? Who would ever carry $19.5 million in dead cap space on their roster for multiple seasons and be like, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine.
I mean, the
not
Sharks
me.
have a bajillion dollars in dead cap, but that's a different story. So
yeah, that's neither here nor there.
That's on purpose. So
the goalie situations, in addition to the injuries, very much bear monitoring because holy cow, it's reaching critical mass already, and we haven't even hit Christmas. We haven't even hit Christmas yet. So we'll keep an eye on it and make sure you keep your eye on Locked On NHL as we keep you up to date throughout the course of the regular season. We've got, of course, updates and episodes for you every single Monday through Friday. So make sure to follow along on your favorite audio platforms so you don't miss out on any new episodes throughout the week. We got you covered every Monday through Friday as part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.